What if the life you are trying to build isn't actually yours? जो ड्रीम जॉब तुम्हें चाहिए वो तुम्हारी ड्रीम जॉब है ही नहीं. तुम्हारे रिलेशनशिप स्टैंडर्ड्स तुम्हारे स्टैंडर्ड्स है ही नहीं. Basically, how many of your desires are actually yours and how many were borrowed? Maybe social media isn't just influencing what we buy. Maybe it's influencing what we want. हमें क्या बनना है, कैसा दिखना है, what success looks like, what love looks like, what happiness looks like. And if that's true, then who exactly is driving this bus? हम सबको लगता है कि वी आर मेकिंग आवर इंडिपेंडेंट डिसीजंस, दैट वी आर यूनिक. हम उन 4 लोगों के बातों में आने वालों में से नहीं है. Humans don't naturally know what to desire. We learn desire by watching other people. Think about it. Nobody wanted a Stanley Cup. Then everybody wanted a Stanley Cup. Nobody wanted matcha. Then suddenly everyone is drinking grass-flavored water and acting enlightened. Nobody wanted to wake up at 5 a.m. Now people wake up at 5 a.m. to film themselves waking up at 5 a.m. Manifestation, vision board, Korean skin products, Labubu, name it. We humans are weird. We don't actually want the thing. We want what we believe the thing will make us become. The expensive car isn't about the car. It's about status. Dream relationship isn't about the relationship. It's about feeling chosen. We are not chasing objects. We are chasing identities. We are chasing version of ourselves, and most of the time we don't even realize it. If you spend your life chasing things without questioning the story behind them, you might spend years climbing a ladder only to discover it was against the wrong wall. You carry them around in your pocket. It's called your phone. See, most people think that social media is competing for attention. But I don't think attention is the real product anymore. Desire is. Think about it. Instagram doesn't just show you content, it shows you lifestyles. It doesn't just show you videos, it shows you identities. And before you know it, you have gone from haha, that's a nice reel, to maybe I should move to Goa, do a remote job, drink matcha, heal my inner child, buy Pinteresty clothes, learn pottery, and sit in aesthetic cafes. All within 17 minutes. Calm down, Shreya. We opened the app to watch dog videos. Now we are questioning our entire existence. By the way, for most of the human history, people compared themselves to maybe 100 people. Their family, their neighbors, their village, their classmates. That's it. If someone bought a cow, you bought a cow. Simple. Now you open your phone and within 10 minutes, you have met a millionaire, a fitness coach, a travel influencer, a skincare expert, a relationship expert, a productivity bro, a girl living your Pinterest dream life, and some 19-year-old making more money in a month than your entire bloodline collectively has ever been. Good morning. No wonder we are stressed. The algorithm doesn't care what makes you happy. It cares what keeps you watching. And guess what humans watch the longest? Things they desire, things they envy, things they aspire to become. Which means every time you stop scrolling and stare at something, you are basically training the algorithm, and the machine delivers it again and again and again until one day you wake up feeling behind in a race you never signed up for. The scary part isn't that social media influences us. Of course it does. The scary part is how quietly it does it. Every post is answering invisible questions. What is attractive? What is successful? What is normal? What should I want? Who should I be? And if you hear the same answer enough times, you stop questioning it. You start calling it your personality, which is wild. The algorithm is not showing you the reality. It's showing you what captures attention. And attention is not the same thing as truth. Just because something is popular doesn't mean it's meaningful. Just because everyone wants it doesn't mean you should. And just because it showed up on your feed doesn't mean it belongs in your future. जब भी लोग कंपैरिजन के बारे में बात करते हैं, दे यूजुअली ब्लेम सेलिब्रिटीज, द कार्डेशियंस, इन्फ्लुएंसर्स, मूवी स्टार्स, स्टार किड्स, बिलियनियर्स, सुपर मॉडल्स. बट मोस्ट ऑफ अस aren't crying over ourselves to sleep because we are not Taylor Swift. The people who actually mess with our heads are much closer, and that's what makes them dangerous. Let me explain. If I see a billionaire with a private jet, I won't care because there's such a huge gap between my reality and theirs that my brain doesn't even register it as competition. It's irrelevant. Now imagine this. A girl from your city, your age, she has 50k followers, a cute apartment, a healthy relationship. She somehow always has glowing skin. Suddenly your brain goes, oh, she's basically me. No wait, she is me, but better. And ladies and gentlemen, the psychological warfare begins. Because the most painful comparison doesn't come from people who are impossible to become. They come from people who seem close enough. And this doesn't just happen online, it happens everywhere. That friend who got married before you, that cousin who got a government job, that ex classmate who started a business, that random guy from school who suddenly owns 3 properties and somehow has abs now. You could genuinely be doing great, but the second someone similar to you achieves something first, your brain suddenly acts like you are failing. You could have food, friends, health, a roof over your head, a functioning nervous system. But your brain will be like, yes, but Priya got engaged. Thank you, very helpful. And if we are being completely honest sometimes, we are not even jealous of their success. We are jealous of what their success seems to say about us. If they can do it, why haven't I? See, that's why these comparisons hurt. Not because of what they have, but because of we make it mean. We turn somebody else's timeline into evidence about our own worth. Which is a terrible business model, by the way. Truth is, you have absolutely no idea what their life feels like. You know what it looks like, not what it feels like. Huge difference. You know the promotion, not the anxiety. The wedding photos, not the fights. The business success, not the panic attacks. The six-pack, not the obsession, not the discipline. And because our brains are lazy little creatures, they will just fill in the missing information. They will assume, well, if their life looks perfect, it is perfect. So the next time someone triggers comparison in you, don't ask why I'm behind. Ask what story am I telling myself? And because that's usually where the pain lives, not in their success, in the meaning you have attached to it. But if comparison is so exhausting, why do we keep doing it? Okay, let's say you win. You get the thing. The job, the followers, the relationship, the money, the body, the city, the dream life you wanted. Now what? What happens next? Human beings spend years chasing things and then get bored of them in approximately 7 business days. You wanted the promotion, you got the promotion. For 2 weeks you felt like you're in the top of the world, then suddenly you want a better relationship now. You got the relationship. Then 6 months later you are arguing with your partner over something very stupid and feeling exhausted. You wanted the followers, you got the followers. But now you're stressed because engagement dropped by 3%. If you have ever achieved anything you desperately wanted, you have probably experienced this weird feeling. You thought the finish line will make you feel different. You thought there would be fireworks, inner peace, some kind of permanent happiness package. But instead you got a moment, a very nice moment, and then your brain immediately opened a new tab. Cool, what's next? The goal is never the goal. The feeling is the goal. Sometimes we achieve the thing without getting the feeling, and that's when the existential crisis arrives. You mean I have spent 5 years romanticizing this moment and I'm still me? With the same insecurities, the same overthinking, we tell ourselves, when I get X, then I'll be finally Y. When I get job, I'll finally feel successful. When I get into a relationship, I'll finally feel lovable. When I get the followers, I'll finally feel important. When I lose the weight, I'll finally feel confident. And sometimes those things help, but they can never permanently give you an emotion that you don't know how to create internally. If your self-worth is outsourced, it will always be rented, never owned. And rented confidence is expensive. One bad day, one rejection, one breakup, one failed project, one person doing better than you, and suddenly your entire emotional economy crashes. So what's the solution? When we are children, we are weird, like gloriously weird. We sing badly, dance randomly, wear questionable outfits, talk too much, ask ridiculous questions. We are not thinking about personal brands. We are not optimizing our lives. We are not networking. We are not building 6 streams of income before breakfast. We are just existing. And then, somewhere along the way, we start collecting experiences, expectations, parents, teachers, friends, society, the internet, the algorithm, random people we don't even like. And slowly we start editing ourselves. Not because we are fake, because we want to belong, which is a very human thing. After years of editing, performing, adjusting, pleasing, achieving, something strange happens. You wake up one day and realize, I don't even know myself anymore. Yeah, I have done this too. I think most of us have. We shape shift around different people, different environments, different expectations, and eventually we get so good at performing that we forget there is a performer underneath. Somewhere along the way, many of us stopped making choices based on curiosity and started making choices based on approval. That's how you end up in careers you don't even enjoy, relationships you don't fit in, friendships that drain you, goals that impresses people but leave you empty. And then you think you are broken. Every time you ignore yourself to become more acceptable, you teach yourself that your authentic self isn't enough. And if you repeat that lesson long enough, you start believing it. That's where people pleasing comes from. That's where perfectionism comes from. That's where the constant need for validation comes from. So after all of this, the $1,000,000 question is, how do we actually escape this trap? And before somebody comments, delete Instagram, no. Because let's be honest, most of us aren't deleting Instagram. We'll watch a documentary about social media addiction on Instagram, then share it on Instagram, then like comments how social media is ruining society on Instagram. Like, let's be realistic, the goal isn't escaping influence. The goal is becoming conscious of it. By the way, human beings copy each other's every time. We always have, we always will. The question isn't whether you are being influenced or not. The question is by whom and towards what. Audit your influences. You don't need to consume less information, you need better information. Better voices, better role models, better questions, creating values instead of chasing goals. Most people build their lives around goals. And goals are fine, but goals end. Values don't. For example, making money is a goal. Freedom is a value. Getting followers is a goal. Creativity is a value. Finding a partner is a goal. Love is a value. Difference is huge because if your life is built around goals, you feel successful only when you achieve them. But if your life is built around values, you can practice them every day, whenever you want. You are going to die. One day, everybody whose opinion you are worried about will be gone. Every person you are trying to impress, every stranger judging you, every random internet troll, every ex, every teacher, every relative asking why you are not married, which means we are all spending an alarming amount of energy worrying about things that eventually won't matter. And that's not depressing, in fact, that's freedom. Because suddenly you realize you don't need permission, you don't need unanimous approval, you don't need to win every imaginary competition your brain creates. You just need to live messily, honestly, imperfectly, as yourself, and maybe that's what escaping the trap really looks like, I guess. Well, thank you for watching. If this video made you question your choices, your career path, your 5-year plan, or your sudden urge to move to Bali, then my work is done here. And if you enjoyed this conversation, subscribe because apparently I crave validation.